Hi, you guys. Ginger Cook
Nice
here.
going, Tweety. I'm a drink.
Hi. This is Ginger Cook, and it's Acrylic Painting Monday. And, you know, we've been doing a lot of 6x8 paintings in the last year or so, and I thought I'd do something 9x12 today. I'm kind of excited about it. We're going to talk to you about how to take an ordinary photograph and turn it into an artistic painting rather than just replicate a photograph, which is really basically when you get some art skills down, anybody can do. So how do you create something unique and different? So that's the goal tonight. I'm excited. We've got a couple of exciting giveaways for you. We've got the Protone canvas with the brush that one of our viewers donated a set of these and included the shipping. And these are canvas boards are really nice that we've painted on them. In fact, I'm painting on one tonight, only a little bit larger. And then also Salvador Paint has very generously offered their one of their paint sets and to give away. So we'll be drawing for that at the end of the show. There's going to be lots of information that we're going to be parsing out as we paint this. And you might want to take notes. John, why don't we show people what we're doing here?
I scooted on down, my queenness.
And you can see this is the photo that I'm going to be using to create something really different. If you're watching this after, sometime after I've aired this, you know from the thumbnail that my thumbnail doesn't look anything like this. So how did I get there? So, and then here's the acrylic paint set, the 24 premium acrylic paints. There's 12 sets, 12 brushes, and a palette and a sponge. It's all courtesy of Salvador, we'll be sending that to you if you are watching our show live, and our winner in the drawing that we'll do at the end of the show. We've got to have a certain amount of likes, though, to have any of these drawings. So might want to take a moment now and just like our channel right now. Just like the show.
Like it and subscribe now.
Like and show now. I mean, let's not fool around. Help us get to 100,000. We don't, help us and spread the word.
After 6 years we'd be there.
Yeah, so come on, you guys. We need your help.
Belly up to the bar, as they say.
So this is, again, these are the Protone canvas boards, and we'll also be doing a special Bristol-on brush that goes with that in the, let's see what
you have one of yours up front there, don't you?
Do I have one up front? Yeah, this is the size.
Yeah,
these are new angle brushes we found and really like them.
Well, Judy found them for us.
Judy found them for us, so thanks, Judy. So found
the
them.
birthday girl, I understand it's her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Judy.
We have a birthday girl in the house.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. So, yeah.
I believe 36 now.
Okay, so Judy's one of our Facebook moderators as well as our YouTube moderator. We also want to give a shout out to all our mods who are here.
We have Steffi Jane in the house, and Luann, and Lynn from the Quebec province. And I know Judy's running around somewhere.
All right, and so we want to thank everybody. We're going to shout out to a few, people that have been, watching us. And I want to say hi to one of our viewers in India, Janani, if she's watching. It's just so neat to me that we've got people from all over the world. Maybe you can think of a few other people, John, to shout out. This is a canvas board that's just been painted with yellow oxide. This is one of the Protones. And I'm going to go ahead while we're just, chatting and stuff, and go ahead and quickly do a trace. Now, if you want to know, someone's going to write and say, well, where are the traceables for this? Well, you've got to be a basic supporter in our channel, Acrylic Painting with gingercook.com.
That is a orange member.
That's an orange member. It's $4.95 a month. You don't have to. You can come and go, and that gives you access to the image and any of the other resources, the photo resource, all of that, right? So, okay, so here's I'm going to just move this out of the way and try to line this paper up a little bit better than that. Let's see if I can line it up like this. And I didn't want to cut it because it's too nice to cut. Don't want to cut it, but that should be good right there. I can tape that down. And of course, we want to give a shout out to John, who you see in the Command Central. Oh, what did we just knock down here? Oh, shoot.
What did you knock down?
One of the paintings that was leaning against
Oh, good.
Man, I can find it. So, if those of you who are not familiar with us, we have our YouTube show, and then we have our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, and we have lessons available there if you want to learn to paint from
With all the
beginner
chit-chat.
to advanced stuff. And it's a skill you build when you're first learning a language, which of course is what painting is. You don't try to write the great novel in Russian or something. You learn a few words, if you can, maybe where's the bathroom and how to get a cup of coffee kind of stuff, right? So when you're first beginning, you can't compare yourself to other artists who have been at it longer and know more words. And then as you learn more words, let's see, this is working.
Apparently Cinnamon did a cat today too.
Did she? You know what? I don't have my glasses on, John. Do we have any spares up here?
That is in charge of Chester. Where'd Chester go? He had them. Let's just see if we can find you a set. This dog's running around somewhere with them. Yeah, buddy. Ooh, you can cut them on right now. Uh-oh.
Well, if you want to know where they are, if you want to race downstairs real fast, I think I probably took them off.
A dozen pair downstairs.
They're in the bathroom, probably where I took them off to do my hair.
I do have several we can choose from. Let's see if any of these will work for you, my queeness.
Okay. Oh, I like these. These look pretty. Let's try these. Oh gosh, isn't that better? Isn't that amazing what the smallest little pleasures in life, what we get, right?
Give that back to Chester so we got him back in his possession. All right.
You'll notice I'm putting a B on the part of this that I know are little images that are going to be black. And if you get your little tiger stripes in the wrong place, that's okay, because why is that okay? Well, because like zebras, everybody's different. So that's good to know too, right? And let's see, I want this one. And so you can just you can fudge this a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. And the idea is that we're trying something pretty whimsical here. And we want to have and I'm using a green pen so I can see where I've been, which is clever. Yes.
Well, you want to do that, especially if you want to go back and somebody sees it. They said, "Oh, can you do me one?"
And then you would use maybe a blue pen or something so you could see where you'd been, right? So these are all little tricks that you want to adopt. And
put them in your vast resources of knowledge.
Yes, yes, and yes. But yeah, just take a moment, and some of these I can just sort of guess where they go. This type of traceable is not my favorite, John, because there's just too much information here. I don't want that much. I want it simplified, so my mind is simplifying. It's going to be a little confusing for some people. Probably be easier to trace it from the real thing, but that's all right. We've got it, and that's black.
Well, I thought, if you print out that other one, it's just a ton of ink that's going to go out there that's not needed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can make it easier on the printer, easier on the artist. I mean, gosh, decisions. I mean, how would we do, right? So anyway, this is sort of fun. We have so many different animal pictures on our in our academy, and even on YouTube, we've got several. We've got cats and really cat eyes and how to do stuff, and here we go. I'm just going to make sure that we have enough outline here. It's easier. I'll tell you a little secret. It's easier to outline on and trace on a hard surface like this than it is on a canvas. It's a little more tricky. Sometimes you can put, like if you've got a stretched canvas, you can slip behind the canvas, say something like this. You can slip behind like a piece of cardboard back in here, and it'll make it easier for your, if you're trying to do, to do a transfer like that, for it to hold. It does like hard surfaces. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yes and yes.
So
Still bounces a little bit. I don't know, I'm kind of partial to those pro-tone boards.
yeah, I like them. They're very nice to paint on, and particularly they're nice because if you want a lot of detail, which we're not going to put that much, but we're going to really exaggerate the detail around the eyes. Let's see, what do we got here? We've got this one under the eye here. Here's this one. I've got this one right here is going to be black. This one right there under the eye, right like that. And then this is coming around the eye here like that. And I've got this one coming out. This way goes this way. Oh yeah, and then it comes up this way. All right, well this is plenty of information for me to figure out what I'm going to do. So if I don't have enough, well gosh, could have spent another 20 minutes here tracing lines, but we're just not going to do it. So we'll take that away. And we're using Salvador paints. These are the same ones we used last week. I just have all the colors out. And I added
Yeah,
black.
that's in our Stay Wet palette we've been using, thanks to Cinnamon.
Yeah, Cinnamon gave us the Stay Wet palette. And it just really, talk about, money-saving thing, right? So you can see there's our,
Oh, it looks good already.
there's our Animali. And
Molly.
our Animali, yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
So let's just take a moment here. And we'll take a small brush. And I've got some titanium white. And the first thing I'm going to do is paint these eyes white.
And you're doing that why?
Because I want them to be very translucent looking. And they have the best chance of being that if they're white. Because we're going to put other colors over them. So I'll put that white there, and that can be drying, all right? And then I'm going to take a little bit of this, kind of a little of this flesh tone color. Put that right here. Let's see. I'm going to put a little flesh tone color here. That's that sort of peach color. If you're trying to learn how to make peach, peach is white, yellow, and kind of a cad red. That's how you make a peach, right? And right up next to this, we've got something light right here. Feels like the paint, one thing I will say, it feels a little more watery doing it this way, John. Like the paint has absorbed a lot of water.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. So it's
Well, I did kind of spritz it the other day because we hadn't opened it in a while.
Oh,
so I may have
perhaps
overdone it.
I think you did because it's very watery here. Let's just for fun of it get that color out and see. That's not it. What would that color be? Oh, you'd think that would have been that one, wouldn't you? I don't know. Well, I'll just put some of this here and see if it's different. I'm going to put a little orange somewhere and see. Yeah, see that it's normally not that liquidy. But that's all right. We just, you live and learn, right?
Well, yeah,
Probably
it's all new
overspray.
to us.
They oversprayed that a little bit, yeah. And let's do a little bit of light. I just like to just kind of block in some stuff I know is going to happen. It's going to have 2 coats now because of this. And let's take a little bit of burnt sienna and brown and do this. And just kind of get this and a little bit of yellow oxide on here.
Hey, I'd like to thank Eric for the donation that came in through the super chat.
Oh,
Here's to the best teacher ever.
Thanks.
After the show, time for hot fudge and sundaes.
Oh,
We're all
here we
going
go.
to Eric's place.
We're all going to Eric's place. Eric had a great show this weekend and sold a whole bunch of paintings, which is so cool, right?
You gotta love that.
We gotta love that. And we tell you, as long as you give us credit for the, not some sort of acknowledgement for the designs, can't make prints of our tutorials, even the ones on the, but you can, even the, you've got the, you can, go ahead and paint them. You paint, one of our members, has painted this one, I don't know what it was one of our probably most successful tutorials as far as resale goes is that those high heel shoes, the red shoes with the blue jeans, and
Yeah, we knew someone that sold what?
and she's like
6 or 7 of those
6 or
things?
7 of those. She just keeps painting them, people buy them, and that's actually a YouTube lesson. It's just kind of neat, right? And so when you think about that, I mean, you think about all the oh, that's a nice color. I like that. Let's see. I think I'm going to change brushes and use a little bit bigger brush now. Let some of that other stuff dry. This is a brand new brush. We haven't washed it yet, but we're going to take a little bit of
Apparently,
this purple.
Silverdale, Washington hit 107 degrees. Previously, the hottest was 103.
Wow.
That seems a little warm for Washington.
Yeah, Eastern Washington, what we used to call Eastern Washington, where they grow the cherries and all that stuff, has always been warmer. It was always the hot spot of.
I don't think quite that hot.
But I'll tell you what, there's been some real climate change. I mean, real climate change. Notice how I keep changing colors as we go down here. And
Brenda would like to know, what's the best way to display your paintings at a craft show?
there's books on that. There's books on that, and
You can also ask people in
I
the-
would say
in the Facebook
that
group.
one of my favorite books is the guy has passed away. It's called Jack White. It's called The Art of Making It, and we have that. If you go to our Amazon store, what is it? Amazon.com/gingercook. What is it, John? How do you get to our Amazon store?
gingercooklive.gallery/Amazon.
Okay, so all right. If you go up there, you'll see that book listed, and it's not a hard copy. I think you have to print it out, right? He never quite got anything published, but I knew Jack and his wife, Nikki Sinkark, and he was extremely successful with her, and he was kind of her manager. He did a lot of painting himself, and he had some of the best. When I started following his advice on how to do art shows and sell my artwork, Eric, if you haven't bought his book yet, you really need to, because it's fantastic.
Strongly recommended.
I strongly recommend it to buying it, and because he had all these wonderful tips, and Eric's his biggest Eric, the biggest tip that he had, which is people don't appreciate it, is sell the artist, not the art. And you think about those words for a minute. Everybody's so busy selling the art. Sell the artist. And how do you sell the artist? Well, for instance, if you were lucky enough to come across a Van Gogh at a garage sale, and it was authenticated as a real Vincent van Gogh painting, right?
Even if it wasn't his finest work.
Even if it was just a crummy paint, but just suppose it was, and it was another one of, just, a little cafe scene, and you knew it was, that's what it was, or maybe it was a chair or something, whatever he'd painted, right? But you've latched onto it, now you own it, right? And when you think about that, if you don't say, I own a chair, you say, I own a Vincent van Gogh.
That's true.
And you own whatever you can afford. So you want to transfer this idea of
Selling the name.
So, you want to get into the selling of the name, not the
mystery of making it by Jack White.
Mystery of Making It by Jack White, and it's really a tremendously good.
It's a good read.
It's a good read, and it'll give you a lot of. He has written several books. That was probably my favorite. I bought all of them. But if you're interested, if you're you're as an artist and you're really struggling to learn to paint and to sell, and you want to be this professional artist and do it, you learn this really quick. Okay, the goal, of course, is to be able to do that. And right now I'm just sort of layering in some colors, darks and lights and so forth.
I'd like to thank Joanna for the donation that came in through Super Chat. I hope to win a ginger painting.
Well, you know what? We're not going to be giving away this painting today. This is not one of the ones. I think if you missed us at the beginning of the show, we're not donating this painting into the pile of giveaways. You could win tonight. You can win either a
Salvador paint kit.
Salvador paint kit,
or some of the canvas work.
sort of the canvas things. I'm saying, but we're not doing this. This painting will eventually be up to auction.
That'd be in our July. Our next auction starts July 16th.
So it'll be up there.
The next YouTube auction will be in August.
Speaking
August
of
13th.
birthdays, again, we want to say happy birthday to Judy in case she missed us telling her that. Just this first time I heard it, that it was her birthday. I didn't realize it. And but again, we want to thank her for all she does, and
all the moderators.
And all the moderators are just they do so much. People have no idea what our moderators do.
Hey, we'd like to thank Barbara for the donation that came in through the PayPal system. Thank you, Miss Barbara.
And Barbara, you may not be aware, but we so appreciate that we are keeping track of donations, and if in a 3-month period, which ends when, John?
This one will end at the end of August.
End of August.
It'll be the first show in September on YouTube.
There will be a drawing for 3 of our original 8x10 paintings.
Which were in the newsletter, and Ginger will show them to you a little bit later tonight.
I'll show you guys what, and we'll keep track. So you don't have to. So if your donations have added up to at least $100, for every $100 you have an entry. But if you just weren't able to, we're going to change brushes again, do something else. You can do $10 at a time or whatever. But we appreciate it. Everything's appreciated. So just and we want to thank everybody that helps us out in that way. I want a little bit more of a blue here.
I know a lot of you have got some of our downloadable lessons that were being hosted on Vimeo. And if you haven't heard yet, we are moving them over to our new website. And so you're getting emails from Vimeo saying they're no longer going to be available and they're putting everybody into a panic mode. First off, do not panic. Go to the TechBear YouTube channel and watch the video that was just posted today, right before the show. That shows you what you need to know. So when we get them all on our new website, acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com, I can add them to your account.
Yeah. So you want to do that. So this is our first foray into the dark here, and I'm going to get a little bit of the blue.
The underpainting is Yellow Orchid Gesso by Holbein. That's what I used.
Well, it's yellow ochre, John, not orchid. It's ochre.
Orchid, whatever.
It's ochre, just in case anybody wants to know, right?
Janet, thank you for the donation that came in through Super Chat. Super Chat.
I'm just doing a dark purple right now. I haven't gotten into the blacks yet. A little bit more blue with the red. Just because you have all kinds of colors doesn't mean you still shouldn't mix them. You know what I mean? And again, these are a little more translucent than I'm liking, and that is because it's nobody's fault. It's because John's fault, actually. It's whose fault it is, but let's not dissemble here because he's oversprayed them with water and got them too sloppy. So if you're doing that, don't
do that.
Don't do that, right?
What makes Ginger choose the color she's using to paint the tiger?
Ginger did a lot of research on this tiger to decide and I went around and looked at different color palettes of different paintings, and then came up with a plan of how the color palette I chose for this. And these kinds of tricks are going to be in our new design class. We're still working on that. John's trying to get the website a little, kind of finished up here. The new website, get everything transferred over. But these are the kinds of things that definitely, we'll be in our new website about how, exactly how do you do that? How do you decide?
Painting design, so you guys can do your own stuff.
And how do you come up with a good painting design? It isn't just find, sometimes you can be lucky and find a good photograph. Most of the time, from what I've seen from people, from doing personal art coaching, they'll send me in potential photographs, and most of them, for me, they're not, they're really not as effective as you would be hoping. That the photographs, might be gorgeous photographs, but they don't necessarily make good paintings. And that's, if you think about, all of us pretty much can read and write and write letters and stuff. If you wanted to become an author and have a book published, there's different rules. Yes and yes. Writing rules, and even if you knew them all, that doesn't mean you get a book published. And I think there's this crazy idea somewhere that somehow that you will just by osmosis somehow just understand instinctively what makes a good painting, and then just start doing them. And boy, it's there's a reason why all of these kinds of things are in a study class in college. I mean, what we had one lady write and say that she felt like she learned more from us than, and she's a master of bachelor
BS.
in art, and still, because even in college they expect you to research it. They don't just give you the answers. That you just don't get them.
You think they would?
But they're not going to give them to you. They're not going to give you the answers. So, which is it's just an interesting phenomenon to me, what happens. And everything, I guess the one thing I would tell you is, which you hear me say over and over again, is everything is layered, right? So if, in brush direction, look, you'll notice that it's fur, so I'm kind of spreading it out like that. And, bringing this around like that. And
here's a good question for you, my queenies.
Sure.
Patricia would like to know, if I'm going to be painting a pure white dog, what would you use for your underpainting?
Well, if you took off the
white,
what would be under there?
What color is the dog?
What color is that dog really?
The dog is probably a tan or a dark color
underneath, and the white's on top. So you have to find the shadow colors. You paint those first.
Yeah.
But we have videos on how to do that. And how to create that that look, right? So you'll notice that right now I'm sort of taking this blue and red and creating more of the outline here. This is coming around the eye like this, so we got a little bit more.
Well, we'd like to thank Joan for the donation that came in through PayPal, and you have got an entry in the drawing for the next paintings.
Yes, and thank you very much. We appreciate it immensely. And let's see, let's just pull this one together. I got to tell you, having tried your outline, John, I have to say that it's probably less confusing as if you just used the real picture. Just did a black and white and did it. And just sucked it up and used the ink. Because I think that for a lot of people are going to get really confused.
Well, they're going to have them both. They'll have.
Well, you'll have both, but I'm not suggesting using this because of that. I think it's a little bit confusing. But that's all right. It's painting is about seeing patterns.
That's all it is.
Really, it's about seeing patterns and executing them.
Executing the patterns.
Mm-hmm. seeing patterns and executing them. And you want to be able to do that. It helped that I put the bee on there. I think I'm kind of glad I did that. Again, I will be going over this. It looks like this would take a long time. I don't think it's going to take as long to paint as you guys think. You're going, oh man, she will never be done with this.
Oh yeah.
But
Absolutely.
But we will.
We will.
Again, I can ad-lib a little bit because no two
I'd like to thank
patterns are
Ivana
quite...
for the donation also that came in through the PayPal system.
Oh, thank you very much. That is just awesome. So let's do a little dark one right here too.
But basically, everything in the world is broken down into what, 3 shapes? You have circles, rectangles, and triangles.
Or it's some letter. See,
Or
that's
letter,
the
but
other
I mean,
thing.
everything's
It's either some letter, yeah, it's some letter that you learn to do when you learn handwriting.
Which is, again, goes back to those same shapes.
Yeah, it's truly true.
That's all we know. Salvador Paints, large set, $12.49 for the large tubes. Get 10% off with the 10 off for all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judy. Yeah, they were on sale last week for $8.99
for their prime deal, and and we just did a I wish I could have showed you the picture, but we didn't get them loaded in time.
No.
But we had a gal that did our pink, rose, and green vase challenge, and used them strictly with Salvador paints, and they just did. I was so impressed with how well this was done.
Yeah, the whole thing done in Salvador.
Yeah. So,
and it was a beautiful job.
Oh, wasn't it? Just absolutely stunning.
Maybe if we get our act together, we'll have them up for next week's show.
We'll try to show you some of the stuff that people have been doing, because I think people are really surprised when they discover how nice that is.
Linda says, I got this large set. I love those paints for finger painting. So smooth.
Oh, I bet they're fun. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so I've sort of got this laid out a bit. Now I feel like I've got some of the dark spots in and some of the light spots, right? And now let's get a little bit of the brown. I'm not cleaning my brush here, but I know that I've got something a little bit darker right up in here like that, a little bit of a shadow. So I'll put that in. And as I get a little more, I'll get a little bit more paint on this canvas. I'll get a little bit of that color. This is zinc white here, so I want to just do a little bit of a shadow right here. I've got this down in here, and then I kind of lost my shadow here, so I'll just do one of these black ones, and I'll do a little bit of black right here. I've actually gone into a little bit of the black, though I'm not going to do a lot of black, but I needed to get into it. I might as well use it off my brush. Okay. All right, so you can see where I'm kind of going with this. So if I take a little smaller brush here, just work on the eyes a bit more. So I add a little bit of yellow to this turquoise blue color to get that translucent color going. Those translucent blue eyes. Now, in the photograph, they're green, but I don't want green eyes. I want a little bit of the blue ones. I want this more of this blue, and I want very light down here at the bottom. With that very light right there. When I do those eyes, I want those very light. And then I want something pretty dark here. Now the pupils on him are going to be black. We're going to have the black pupils on him.
Gwen says, Ginger, I just watched the finger painting video. The flowers were beautiful. Can you do another finger painting of one of the dog? Another finger painting we did?
Of what, a dog?
Yeah, well, yeah, a dog.
I don't know. It just depends. I can, put a little, well, a little bit of this turquoise green here. I need, one thing that happens to the eyes is they get a little darker when they're up, closer to the, like the bottom part of the eye is in shadow. There's always a bit of a shadow, you know, this part from about 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock on your eye is about, is in shadow.
Hey, we'd
So
like to
there's,
thank Grumpy Bunny for the donation that came in through Super Chat.
okay,
Too
thank
bad
you.
Grumpy Bunny's grumpy. We
Yeah.
like to have grumpy bunnies.
Now this has got to dry a little bit more before I can do much. So one of the things you want to do is, what's happened? I'm not hearing the funnies here.
When Gwen wrote that she wanted a dog, she goes, no, not a dog, an ODG. See, that's ODG, not DOG. Come on, Gwen. That's a good one.
It's a very funny here. You be funny. You be funny.
Oh, that's great.
I love it. So now we can start, you know, so what are we going to do here? We got,
Well, you have a printout. I mean, what more do you want? And you have it on your iPad.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what I wanted, what's dry enough for me to work with.
Oh, okay.
See, that this is, I don't like that right there. I'm going to take that out. What is dry enough for me to work with? And I have to tell you that, you know, having this paint so wet is not good. There's a certain, I mean, one of the things I know, I always tell people one of the mistakes artists make is they use way too much water on their paint. And then you see it, and everything gets runny. And if you're using one of these stay wet palettes and you're spraying it a lot, well, you're going to run into that too, aren't you?
It's even getting wetter.
It's just getting wetter. So I mean, I don't want to throw the palette out for this, but you want to be aware of that, right?
Well, it's a new thing to us, new toy.
Well, it is, John. And
hey, Chrissy has a nice comment for you.
what's that?
Ginger has opened my eyes so much. I see other paintings, and I see it so much different now than when I started with her. It is amazing. I'm so happy. I'm in the academy. Thank you for everything you both do.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. We're really very pleased to hear that. And, you know, it's one thing you'll find when you go to, sometimes you'll look at a painting somewhere and you'll think, I could paint that. Let's see, that would take me 5 days, or that would take me, you know, it's almost like name that tune, right? That would take me
5 weeks.
5 weeks or whatever. And you're going, well, I could paint that, but that would take me, you know, but I know how they did it. Sometimes just knowing how they did it is extremely satisfying, isn't it? Just knowing how,
absolutely.
knowing how people did it. It's just, I think that's kind of nice, right? So, like I say, I'm having fun with this.
I'd like to thank Catherine Ann for the donation that came in through the PayPal. You two have now been entered into the drawing for the next round.
That is so awesome.
You need to really share those paintings, my queen.
Well, when I get to it, I'm going to share those paintings, you guys, but I need to get to a place where I can stop.
Just a friendly reminder from the Stucky staff.
Yeah, go ahead. Be friendly. You feel free to be friendly.
Yeah, go for it.
Because you see, now I'm running into, if you keep going, you have to be careful, because if you keep going and don't dry, then you start smearing your colors, right? You may not want to do that.
Smudging them.
And you're starting to say, no, if I'm thinking I've got some white here, maybe I don't. I mean, I don't have white here anymore. I've just got, so again, I have to be careful to kind of stay away from those dark spots if they're not dry. So which is why we always tell you, you know, use a hairdryer. And people say, well, I just paint it for a little while and then I walk away. Well, you know, that's all very fine, but you can, have you ever seen, scuba divers? And that particularly the ones without the scuba equipment, the people, you know, the pearl divers and stuff, those people. And one of their extraordinary abilities, right, is to be able to dive and hold their breath as they descend into the deeps. And some of them can go a very long time. I don't know how many minutes, but some of them are going a very long time, okay? Well, did you know you do the same thing when you paint? And you're going, well, what do you mean? Well, what happens is you look at something that you want to do and you mark the spot. And then you've got to hold that image in your mind from here down to the palette and back. And remember it. You got to hold it down there and still remember where you were going with it. What was your big plan? What were you going to do? Okay? So you got to be able to do that. And the longer you paint, the more you can kind of, let's see, I think I want some of that color. The more you can kind of hold your breath and be able to do that. The longer you can, the longer you paint, the more control you have over what you just remembered you wanted to do and what you're doing. How's that? So you've got, for instance, I know right there I want some white. Now, some people will just put their finger there. So because then they're looking around going, where was that going? And because the pattern starts confusing them. But so what happens when you're painting is that you're starting to exercise muscles in your brain very much like that pearl diver. Very much like that. See me coming up here? Very much like that. And you're starting to exercise these, this technique, the same technique they use, except they're holding their breath. And what are you doing? You're see, right now I'm thinking about where I'm going, so I can't think and tell you what you're doing, but you're doing that in your mind.
You're holding your paintbrush for sure.
You're really, this is painting is one of the best things you can do as you age, because it keeps your mind very sharp, much better than crossword puzzles or the rest of it. Crossword puzzles, you're going off of old memories. And painting, you're getting new ones. That's profound. I just made that up, but it's profound when you think about it. Yes and yes. You're getting new ones. So, some people worry about, it's not perfect or I got it. But the more you learn, even if you never made a great painting, how many people go to the gym and exercise and they're not trying to be Olympic athletes. They just know that their body feels better if they do that. Well, your mind will feel better the more you paint. People say, I just can't get motivated to paint, or I don't know what I want to do. Pick something and do it. Challenge your mind.
Just doodle something.
Yeah, just do something. I mean, honestly, just do something.
Hey, Donna would like to know, Ginger, do you think you might paint a mother duck with her babies?
I'm not against that. That's a sort of, we'd have to have the right photo, right?
We won't rule it out, but I'm going to say it's not on the top of the list at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just not going to rule it out, right? Notice the brush direction is changing now. Now I've got enough paint on here to, so I'm sort of going sideways here now. I want to do a few of these little, where's my,
I think a mama and baby giraffe together would be cute. We don't have a giraffe yet.
We haven't done a giraffe. There's some. We haven't done a giraffe yet. No, we have not done a giraffe. Let's see what color is this. One. Violet.
Oh, Grumpy Bunny says, I can't paint people for anything.
Well, people are like brain surgery. They're much harder to do.
I will attest to that. We just finished one that was 6.5 hours, and I'm still editing it.
Yeah, John's got 17 parts on one of our. We've started our portrait series. That's not where you start. And just because you can't paint people doesn't mean you're a bad artist. That's a bigger book.
You have to grow into that.
You got to grow into that, right? Absolutely.
You've got to learn a lot before you just say, "Oh, I'm going to go paint Mona Lisa."
Yeah. I love the fact that some people think that Mona Lisa is Michelangelo in drag. That's some people. They think that might have been And we're starting to
I
put
would,
some colors.
I would love to see, Eric says, I would love to see a Black Panther. Thought about doing one many times, but I haven't done one yet. We have that on our drawing board, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, Eric, I'll tell you what the deal is. Eric's selling paintings. So here's the deal, Eric.
Well, wait, I know where you're going to go with this. I want to say, somebody asked a question, what subjects are selling?
Okay, so if you want to know what's selling, pop down to your local furniture store and see what's hanging on the walls.
Yep.
Go down and see what people are buying, because that's the trend. And so if you're trying to figure out what's selling, that's probably one of the most effective ways to do it. And you want to you might want to go to Penny's and Bed Bath and Beyond if they still are in business, and maybe a high-end furniture store. Do a little research. Okay, and then if you want to be too crazy, get Architectural Digest magazine maybe and see what they're featuring, because those people are kind of the trendsetters. Does that make sense? They're setting all the trends for a lot of this.
Yep.
And
So I gave you the new Bristol on brushes, you're not using them.
well, you didn't give me the tiniest one,
Oh,
John.
that's right. They
They didn't have a real tiny one,
No,
so
they
I'm
don't
not
have a
using
You're
it.
right.
But that brush is too
I got you.
that brush is too big,
Yeah.
and this one has to be littler. See, when you're coming around here like this is a fatter line here like that on the eye. Okay, well, that's just so sometimes you need a nice,
You don't know why they didn't do a 1/4 inch on that one.
well, it's probably, just who knows. But I wanted to make sure I had let's see, what do we got here? Coming back in that way. I want to get those eyes a little better. So, because I mean, right now what we're trying to do is really make these eyes pop. And let's see, we want something very light. Very, very light. Here, almost white underneath here like this. Okay, so we have that nice light area. Okay, so I'm going to take a minute and just let that sit for a second. You said you wanted to know about the painting. I want to just, John, can you back out quite a bit for me, please?
Yes, my queenness.
If you really like animals like this, here's one of my favorites. It's in the Academy. Her name's Lola. And you've got this leopard. And this little painting here would look really cute with Lola, and this painting would really look really cute together, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Lola and that one. So that's Lola. And then we did a t-shirt. This is on one of our t-shirts. One of my favorites. You can way back out for this one, John. You'll notice that this is more of a stylized version of painting.
Oh, that's Taz.
This is Taz. And you'll notice that we've got these beautiful colors here, right? That are just, and again, it's more of a stylized, not just a photograph of how a tiger is painted. Then, let's see, do I have the cat one coming up? Yeah. We've got coming up in our Academy, released probably next month. We have 2 different tutorials of this cat. One was done with golden open paints and one was done with regular acrylics. And we've got this cat here, 2 different versions of this, and those will be kind of side-by-side lessons. You can, if you own golden opens, it's a good example of how to use them. If you don't, you might use regular acrylics, but these are some tutorials coming up. And then, I mean, we've done a lot of animals, and of course, this week's our release was the release is Odie, the German Shepherd.
Good old Odie.
So this is Odie. This belonged to one of our viewers, and the dog passed away, and she asked if we could do a tutorial on it. So that's in our Academy. acrylic painting with gingercook.com. You could join for 1 month and then just write John and say, I just need the Academy
You
for
don't
a
have to
month.
write me anymore. You can do it yourself.
You can do it yourself. You can do the way we've
Come
got
and
the
go
new-
as you want.
You can just come and go as you want. It's kind of neat, actually. So
But now remember, your grandfathered in, if you stay an active member,
you drop out.
you get the new whatever the newest pricing will be, and we're going to tell you right now, prices will be going up the first of the year.
But anybody that's currently paying, their price will not go up as long as you don't drop out.
As long as they
And we
stay
have
active.
some people that are, paying from, 4 years ago pricing, and they've just stayed with us, and others have come and gone and find themselves paying a bit more. All right, so then the 3 paintings that, for those of you who have been kind enough to be donating tonight, and we're keeping track of you, whether you're doing it on, either our PayPal or YouTube, but we have, let me just move Kitty here. And we've got, this is one that we have, the Traveler is one of our, and then we've got the flowers, the apple blossoms.
Are those apple blossoms?
Yes. And
Okay.
then we've got
Gazebo.
the gazebo, which
Love
is
that
more the
gazebo.
Thomas Kincaid style of painting. So these are the when we do the drawing, the first name picked will have their choice of all 3. Then the second name will get to pick the last 2, and then there'll be 3. We're giving away all 3. Appreciate it very much, all the help you guys give us, and how nice it is that you do that. So we thank you.
PJ would like to know, what's the difference between golden opens and regular golden paints? Oh, PJ.
Well, they got a patent on that, PJ. They have a patent on their paints, and this is why we've been encouraging people to buy the golden open medium, and kind of, you can add it to other acrylics. But what happens is they stay wet a really long time. People say they can't blend because nothing ever stays wet. They get very upset, right?
I do.
And golden opens will keep, but they can be sticky if you're not careful. So it's not something you use a lot of water with.
No, you
Which-
can't use any water with it. As a matter of fact, they tell you, don't water it.
But
It will become sticky. And they're absolutely right.
you don't want to,
We have
don't.
used it in a couple paintings, the golden open medium, which will take your regular acrylic paint and give you more working time.
Yes.
And that's what golden opens. And you can buy golden open paints right out of the tube, and they give you hours of working time. It's almost like an oil, but it does eventually dry.
But they dry, and and you don't varnish them for, say, a couple of
Oh, weeks.
weeks.
I think they have 2 or 3 weeks before you varnish them, because they got to really cure.
I want to get back into my colors here. This is Vat Orange from Golden, as long as I'm going to put some new stuff out. There's a lot of orange in this picture. I want that color. I'm going to wipe off the excess here. There's a lot of dry brushing that goes into a painting like this. And I don't know
A lot of
where.
brushwork. Hey, we'd like to thank Kimberly for the donation that came in through the PayPal system. Thank you, Miss Kimberly.
Oh, yeah, thank you very
Oh, we
much.
had another one come in, and that came in from Michelle. Thank you, Miss Michelle.
Getting more towels there. But there's nothing like a terry cloth rag when you're trying to clean your paints. So you can see where this is
John, can you use a stay wet palette with the opens? I would not.
I wouldn't do it.
Because they say water makes them sticky.
Yeah, just,
They don't need it.
and you don't need to go out and buy all brand new paints. And so we've discovered that some of you may have already bought some, and they're nice for portraits and stuff. But because you can get some, they're very good for blending. That's what we would tell you. They're very nice for blending.
Can you dry golden opens with a hair dryer between layers?
Yes, sort of.
But it becomes sticky then.
Well,
It's tricky stuff.
you
They're
know,
really designed to be kept wet and working wet. But yes, you can kind of skin them over type deal, but depends on what layer you want to put on top of that.
okay, so I'm gonna have to move this out of the
That's
way
why we
here.
really like the medium better, so we can just control what we want to have stay wet longer.
Yeah, so when you're talking about colors, what colors, I want a little bit more of a, this is a luminous rose. I want a little bit brighter color. I'm going to put this with a little blue. And want some color in here. See, I've got this neat purple color going.
The new brushes that Ginger is using, it's in the Bristol-on series of the Silver Brush Company, and they came out with angle brushes like they did in the Ruby Satin Silver, which is not as stiff as these are. So when you're looking for them, I know Dick Blick had them, and we just bought the full set. They have 3/8, was it 3/8 half-inch, 5/8, and 3/4. They don't do a quarter, which is surprising.
It's a little darker purple. It's a dazzling purple. Want something a little darker here. Oh,
Liking the colors you got in this.
well, I do too. And I got, so again, we already have a painting of, we already have a photograph of this tiger, and we don't need another photo. People have been photographing tigers and painting them forever. So what are you going to tell us about a tiger that we haven't thought of?
Tell us something different.
Tell us something different.
Carrie would like to thank you for your donation that came in through the PayPal system.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And again, you have to be careful when you're doing this, because if you get into complements, you'll get mud. Complementary colors are those that are opposite each other on the color wheel. So, for instance, turquoise is opposite blue, right? So if you get that blue into that wet orange, what are you going to get? You're going to get
And do we have a video on how to use the Stay Wet palette? And read the directions, follow them, and that's all you have to
yeah,
do.
but
But
you don't
have
need
to
a
follow
video.
the
Just follow the directions.
Because there is some prep work before you start using it.
Yeah, follow the directions.
Real simple to do. Sometimes if I get caught up, it's so simple.
We don't need a video for that. You
It's so
guys,
simple.
you got to at some point take some responsibility and start
You're
reading
gonna have to learn to
stuff.
read.
You have to learn to read. No one ever reads anything we write anyway, so
That's why they want videos.
it's just we have all these great suggestions, and they require a little bit of reading to take advantage of them. Yes, and still waiting for that. What do I got here that I could use? We put a lot of the paints away. And now I go to look for it. I don't see where all that stuff is.
Did you take them out of the one box I had them set in when you
Well, I
did?
could take it out of the box, but just prefer, here. Phthalo green is one of my favorite colors. And it's just one of those colors that's like phthalo blue.
You just got to have it.
It's one of those colors. Just because when you put white with phthalo blue, green, and you add white to it, it makes this gorgeous Caribbean blue.
And what tiger does not want to be in the Caribbean? Come on.
And it just pops those colors up again and around the eyes, and which is what I really wanted. And I wanted a little bit of this light down here at the bottom, like that, right, like that. Woo! See, you can have the sound effects too if you want, right?
Well, you need the sound effects.
And then I've got a little bit of this darker green around the eyes up here. See, it's even more pronounced. And then we could do okay. So now we've got liftoff, Houston. Now we've got liftoff. So we're gonna do a little bit of blue and red makes sort of some pretty purples. Let's pull some more colors in here. Everything is really so fun because it's just
This is one of those, now, this to me is one of those sketchy paintings. When you don't want to paint, you paint something like this with a bunch of colors and just have fun.
yeah, just have fun with it.
Because you can't do it wrong.
Well,
There's
you
no
can,
wrong.
but you can do it wrong, John. Sure, you can. What are you talking about? You can't do it wrong.
You can't do it wrong.
You can get all your colors muddy because you didn't dry them.
Well, they know better than that. We've told them that 1,000 times, Ginger.
Okay. Well, then you're right. You can have. Well, I mean, you can't. Yeah, you just got to play with your colors. And see, I think I want one of these other brushes now. I'll try this one. Because again, we're talking about layers. Any questions, John?
A question came up. It has no ears.
No, he doesn't have any ears. He doesn't in the photo either. Here, see? A little bit, maybe going back this way. We
They're
might
all the way
suggest
back,
an
right.
ear.
He's in attack
But
mode.
just they're kind of they're pushed back, right? So what we have to do, so we're not really talking about the ears, right? Again, we don't have
Now, when you paint it, you want to put the ears on. Go find another tiger, see what the ears
Yeah,
look
just-
like, and put them in.
but this particular photo is not featuring ears today. Sorry.
It's earless.
He's earless because there's
He's in attack mode.
yeah, he's got all this dark color up in here like that. So he's everything's back and going back behind his face and coming this way now with the brush strokes. Out this way and out this way. See, now we've got enough paint on here where it's grabbing some of my other colors. Do you see that? Now we're starting to get grabbing the other colors. Now the trick is, like for instance, my brush was dirty and it picked up that, so I have to erase that. Do you guys know how to erase? Rinse, wipe, swipe. Say I had some color in there I don't want. Just rinse, wipe your brush, and then very carefully mop up the color you don't want. Now, what I want to do here is just take a minute and dry this. So I'm going to do that real quick before I finish it. Okay?
Okay, go right ahead. All right, as the Queeness is drying that off, Santa Sales, who says you didn't get the directions to your Say What palette, it's just on a piece of paper in there. I believe even if you went to their website, you can find the directions. It's real simple. You have to soak the paper for 15 minutes in very hot water and just do the sponge, just sponge it out and squeeze it out. And you squeeze it about half empty to use it. Use to contact us on one of the websites, gingercooklive.gallery or Acrylic Painting with Ginger Cook, and I can give you more specific instructions on the Stay Wet palette. Remember to watch the video on the Vimeo lessons. If you have any Vimeo downloadable lessons, don't go in panic mode. Go watch the video and watch it closely and follow the instructions closely because it should give you everything you need to know. Lily would like to say, Ginger's hair is gorgeous. Do you use a curling iron or rollers?
I use hot curlers. I use hot curlers and I take
So
strands.
that's a combination.
Yeah,
Ooh.
well, I don't use curling irons. I use hot curlers. No curling iron. I use hot curlers. And what I do is I take a strand of hair and twist it, and then wrap it around the roller, and comb it out with my fingers. So here's a little bit of the zinc white. I'm gonna wipe off most of it. I want a little bit of this color on the top of his nose here, like that. See? Now you're going to start, there's enough paint that's going to start to grab this.
Now you
maybe a
start
little
getting
bit of
some the
this.
fur action.
Yeah. Enough paint, right? Enough paint. A little bit of, we're going to start putting in more colors.
Eric says his painting is awesome and I could see it huge too.
Oh, I started to tell, before you interrupted me, I started to tell
I didn't
something.
interrupt you. You got sidetracked. It wasn't me.
I started to tell Eric something you should know, right? Well, I mean, how to figure it out. People will pay. Here's the deal. People will pay for Eric for a painting that is in their living room first. And it's got to be large enough to go over the couch. Either it's got to be two paintings or one big enough. 30 by 40 is a good size. Then they might be able to cough up some money for the dining room. And then maybe the entry hall. And if you're going to try to paint for the kitchen, since they can buy pretty cheap prints for that, you've got to do it small, but don't overly stress about it, because that's generally not where, unless they've got a lot of money, that's generally not where their focus is. Okay? And so when you're trying to decide, where your focus wants to be with you want to paint, you're painting for fun and you're enjoying it. You'd like to sell that stuff just because you feel like it. painting something and you just want to paint it, and that's fine. Okay, we're all for that. But there may come a time when you really absolutely, you've got to figure out what it is that that people are going to buy, and this is where and so then they want stuff that's top. And also the other place they might be willing to shell out some shekels is for maybe they've got a man cave. And those paintings are hard. It's hard to find good guy paintings. It really is. It's just a real trick to find paintings that are like that. So if you've got a a painting that you think would be effective in a man cave, what subjects, like we did that Father's Day pictures with the wine and stuff, right? You remember that we did a bunch of those, and the reason we did was because we haven't done a lot of stuff. And then for the office, guys will buy, they're not going to buy flowers for their office. If they're doing their office, they're going to buy something that doesn't make any kind of statements. The old West, kind of G. Harvey did very well with, in Texas with those kinds of paintings, because his focus was more that. He was able to, really get see how this is just beautifully layering now, right? Where it wouldn't do it before, yeah? So you've got to think about your clientele. What's the average? You can Google this stuff too. Just what's the average, for instance, in a household, most men and women buy paintings together. It's kind of a joint family purchase. And when you think about it, I guess that makes sense, right? So generally speaking now, they want pictures that are that they both like and feel it would go, and they're more likely to spend money on vacation. So the best art galleries are art galleries. They're in tourist areas because that's where you're going to find the couples together, and mom doesn't have to get dad to come look at this neat art gallery she found, and we really want this painting. So there's a budget that, and this sounds very chauvinistic, and I apologize if it does, but there seems to be a family budget that people are allowed to do, feel comfortable doing without their other spouse approving if they have a pretty good relationship, right? They don't want to rock the boat, yeah? And so these angles are great for this fur stuff, aren't they? So what happens is that, so what's that number? It's inflation, and, and it's kind of hard to believe because, 20 years ago it was one thing. Today it might be something else. I mean, just look how much groceries cost right now. And you can see there's a lot of inflation. So you're taking that into account is a good thing too, right? A little bit of purple right here on the nose.
Eric says, Ginger, you are exactly right. Thank you. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, you got to, because, I mean, there is this budget thing. So if you keep for the most part, if you keep your prices under $100,000 for the most part, you've got a pretty good shot at getting you got a good shot at getting the family's budget. Look at all the water I had on that brush that just sat in there. Wow, sat in there and I didn't get it off. Okay, and let's see. I want to do this one. This got a little big here. And this needed to come up here a little bit wider. Come that way. And you remember, you can use a Posca pen too if you're having trouble with the some of the details that they're kind of getting to you a little bit, right? And so you notice that we have some black around the eyes, and then I want some purple in the eyes too. I want a little bit of this purple color. Lots of purples in here. And you're pretty close to getting them finished. Put paint on the brush and wipe most of it off. That's the other mistake people make, is they get a big glob of paint like that and then wonder what happened. You hardly want any of it on there. You hear me say this all the time, but I keep needing to say it. Well, that's kind of cool, right? So now I'm just going back and filling it in with some fun colors. Let's see, what have we got here? It's a little bit of pink, a little bit of yellow. Let's make some sort of peach color with a lot of white.
Does the yellow membership have access to orange and green? Yes. Any level and below. So red would have yellow, orange, and green. Purple has all the colors. So yes, your color and below.
Yeah. Good to know. Yes and yes.
Absolutely. That's a good question.
So I feel like I'm just sort of we're just getting a little bit more color going this way. And let's see, we got a little bit of the dark blue maybe, and then the pink. What have we got going back here? I like a little of this purple color. Some nice stuff does. And when you, of course, when you go to varnish this, you're going to find that. I mean, here's what we started with, yeah. And you're going to find that. Let's see. Let's just get this in here like that. That some of these blacks will pop out a little bit more for you than they're doing now, and that's fun. This is what was called stylized painting. It's it's very popular because it's kind of like modern impressionism. Okay.
It's bold.
Yeah. So you've got, and what you want is you want the eyes to be the total focus. So I'm going to keep playing with the eyes a little bit, so they're your total focus. And but it's an interesting color combination because you normally don't see purple and magenta, do you?
No.
So while I'm finishing this up, and I'm getting pretty close to finishing this up, here's some blue now. Here's some of this light blue, and I'll take a little bit of white. Come over here, the towel, and kind of mix that. I want a little bit of this, just a little bit of blue up here. Not too much. I don't want to take too much away from the eyes, but there you go.
This is very interesting. Today's question was, do you paint as often as you like? And if not, what's holding you back? And I'd like to read some of these.
Sure.
I've had several people say, I'm scared, I'm going to mess it up, I'm not good enough. And it's a lot of those. One says, no, my husband. I like that. Husbands can do that too. So demanding. No, I lost my mojo.
Well,
most people are no right now.
I'll tell you what it is. It's what's happened to you guys is that you're not painting for the right reasons. Paint to improve your brain. And then the happy outcome is you actually get better at painting. Paint to hold your breath with paintbrush. Do that.
A lot of people quite a few people say, no, I'm so depressed. Well, painting alleviates depression. That was
Paint something
proven.
and give it away. That's always nice. It
Yeah,
always makes you feel
paint
good.
something, just give it to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Paint something and give it away. So
That's what Karen always did. She was a knitter. Whatever she was knitting, she would just give it away.
but she enjoyed knitting, didn't
She just enjoyed knitting.
Yeah.
I go, what are you gonna do with it? Well, as soon as somebody asks for it, they get it. Like, cool. I don't think I have anything that she ever knitted. Always gave it away.
Yeah. And you lived in Michigan where somebody knitting something was probably appreciated too.
Oh, absolutely. Because a lot of people can't knit. So she would knit a scarf. You'll give that to me, really?
When I was
Absolutely.
in boarding school in Switzerland, I took knitting.
How'd you do it?
And I ended up bribing that was one of my classes. I ended up bribing the hired help to finish it for me, and then I turned it in. That's just kind of a person I was.
Because there was counting involved and things like that, wasn't it?
Well, I just it was not but my sister was a wonderful knitter, but didn't do other kind of artistic endeavors. But she was a terrific knitter, right? You see, I'm having fun with all these colors, right? But we've got a nifty looking tiger here, I think. And we've got
He needs a name.
and I feel like we
Now, we've had several people say, yes, I paint every day. Yes, almost every day. Yes, I'm almost every week, and sometimes 2 times a week. So they're painting as much as they want. We several that way, but the majority is no. So we're gonna have to work on people. Not motivated.
it's all right.
No, due to lack of space right now, I can appreciate that.
Well, this is why so many of our tutorials are 6x8. You don't need a lot of space. I wanted the academy to work if somebody lived in a trailer and a camper and just traveled, and they could still paint something.
That's my goal.
We wanted to be able to make it where you didn't need a lot of space to do that. You could just for sure do that. You see how I'm just.
I like this one. No, work and a 4-year-old. Yeah, 4-year-olds are demanding.
Well, there are times in your life where you don't have time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But sometimes just watching the videos, you can learn so much. You and I have discovered that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
People can learn so much.
Linda says, no, cinnamon keeps me too busy.
Well, you're painting a little bit, Linda.
Not as much as she wants, though. That was the question.
Well, she probably does, because, Cinnamon's got 3 kids, and they all want food and stuff. It's one of those weird things. So they all want to be fed, and just, and then, there's stuff that has to happen in that house. You have that many people, and they got a lot of yard. So as you can see where, let's see, what do I got here that I want to do? Just do a little of this. Just dry brush a little. See, just dry brush a little of this. Not talk about it so much. All right, you guys. Now, let me dry these eyes and I'll show you something, okay?
Oh, what are you going to show us?
I want to show you what happens if you varnish just the eyes. And if you'll varnish the eyes, what they'll do for you. Do I have varnish or gels or anything?
You got what?
Do I have any varnish?
No.
I don't have any gloss media of any kind?
Nope.
GAC 100 isn't glossy?
No.
What do I got? Nothing glossy?
I would have to get out of my...
Well, if you varnish those eyes, they'll really...
And they're not going to see it through the camera anyways.
Well, no, you wouldn't see it through the camera. You would see, yeah. So let's see. I want to I want the highlight here to be a bit brighter here. Let's see. Let me shake that up. But all right. So these are the Posca pens, which we love, and assuming they've been closed properly and you can get something out of them. But I want to do a few little brighter highlights on those eyes and say that we got pretty close to I'd say we have a really, to me, this is a funner painting of the tiger because because there's an artistic expression about him that you wouldn't normally have otherwise. Yes and yes, makes sense.
True.
And sometimes what'll happen is acrylics, like I said, acrylics have a tendency to dry darker. So let me just see. I want
These are
something
not
just.
fluorescent paints.
No, they're not fluorescent paints.
Just a regular Salvador
Yeah.
paint kit.
Yep. There. So I want a
And the
little
only
bit
other color you added in there was a phthalo green from
in the pink.
Oh,
That
you,
bright. I used that bright pink.
you used the whole
And
line.
the brighter orange from Golden. I used a brighter orange simply because the orange in the Salvador paint's fine, but you watered it down too much.
Okay. I observed you doing that the other day when we were doing the big 4-week project, and I thought, well, we haven't opened it, and I just opened it and it gave it a quick little squirt and closed it.
Well, there you go.
Okay, you can be in charge of your own then. I'm not going to do it anymore.
It's just can't take constructive criticism.
No. Karen says, I really like him. At first, I didn't think I would. Come on, Karen. You got to trust the queen.
This one is not cooperating. This Posca pen. Like another one. I put all these things right where I can find them.
Oh, Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion. Remember him?
This is not Clarence the Cross-Eyed
No,
Lion.
he's not cross-eyed, but I remember that show. That was a good show. Whiskers. Does he have whiskers in the painting?
No, he doesn't have any. There might be a couple.
Oh, they're down below.
They're kind of down below because he doesn't really have them. They're not really.
No, you don't have his mouth.
You just don't have that. You know, if you had any, they'd be.
Below.
This Posca pen isn't writing for some reason.
All right, if you want a chance to win the Salvador paint kit or the Protone canvas boards and a Bristol on brush.
Did we get enough likes there, John? Before you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Last call for that.
Last call for that, right?
Last call for that.
Last call for. I want a combination of these. I want a little bit of the, your darker blacks are in a, like in a Posca pen. You see how much darker this black is? So sometimes you can do a little bit of something just with the, getting a little stronger color.
I like this answer. Yes, every chance I get, at least every day, housework is overrated. Agreed.
Yeah, I know. And then
That
during
took a back
COVID,
seat.
nobody came anyway. So just who's coming?
Yeah, who's coming anyway?
Guess who's coming to dinner? Nobody's coming. So,
So no ears and no whiskers on this guy. This is a stylized tiger.
Well, he doesn't have any in the picture. If
No.
there's an ear, it's way
He doesn't
back
have
here.
ears and he doesn't have whiskers.
This wasn't the idea for that. This
No.
is almost an abstract tiger. We encourage you to
When
try.
you paint it, you do what you want.
Exactly so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
So Eric, we expect to see this a 30 by 40.
Well, I don't know. I'll be real honest with you. I don't know that this would be something. It would go in a guy's house, probably not a shared. It's fun to paint, really fun to paint, be expressive. But what can you
All right,
learn
20
about?
by 24 then.
What can you learn about this painting that you could then apply to another painting about how you colorize something? What did you learn today about how you can take different colors? How did that translate? Yes, I'd say that's as important as anything. What's the
Well,
translation?
that's really what it's all about. It's the colors.
It's the colors. I mean, how can you take a painting? I've got this nice photograph of I want a little bit lighter here. And you've got this, like I say, you've got this nice photograph. But what can you then share with us about how do you see the world through color?
Exactly.
You know, that's what you're really playing with. How do you see the world through color? Is there's, you know, what is it that you're looking at? And that's kind of to me that's where the beauty of this is, and having all the colors out and playing with them is to me kind of fun, right?
Well, it's right up your
Just
alley.
just playing all the color, you know, just again it's just a little bit of layering, just kind of emphasis on the eyes. And what do we know about turquoise? Well, turquoise and orange are very nice together. So maybe we'll have a little bit, I'll put a little bit of orange there, right under that green, right? And under this eye here, I've got some brighter orange. Let's put some yellow with it to kind of complement the eyes right here, right? And let's see, where do I want this to go? I want this to go straight down here like this. This is going to come down here like this and follow this shape. Okay? So all I did there was just sort of tune up, I guess, tune up just tune up where the nose goes, and just tune up a few things here. You know, put a few little bit dark things here. Bring this around.
Eric says my colors were my biggest compliment I got at my show, and I've learned all my colors from Ginger.
Oh, thank you. And if you guys, if you're interested in really learning to do colors, try our color mixing journal. It's on our website, and it's a video on how to make your own. Teaches you how to mix the colors, and you know, it's extremely, I think, informative, don't you, John?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so there you go, right there. That's it. That's what we want. These are great brushes. Okay. So we've got, what happens? See, acrylics dry darker, so just when you think you're just absolutely on spot on here, then something happened, it dries darker. I want something a little lighter on the top of this nose. So, see, my nose got a little dark. So that's all right. I know how to make lighter colors. I just add more white here, and I need some light colors right here on the top of the nose.
Noah would like to know, Ginger, explain why the purple on the nose works so well.
Well, golden and is a complementary color of purple. Yellow and
They're opposite.
they're opposite each other on the color wheel, and so they look absolutely nifty together. Yes.
That's what your eyes like.
Your eyes just like that. You know, you just see. I mean, I can just so fun. What do we got down here? Something bright.
Eric says the main town artist even said to me, what you do with colors is just awesome.
Wasn't that great? And I think that is super. And that's what people buy. In fact, years ago, I had an art agent who wanted me to paint under 5 different names because she had a manufacturer that wanted to collect a lot of different artists. So she had some other artists too, but she had me paint a lot of different things. And he kept, even though I changed subjects and did some pretty radical stuff, right? He kept buying my stuff. And he bought my stuff, right? Because he liked the colors. Didn't matter what subject it was, he liked the colors. Though he thought he was collecting a lot of different artists. just like Anne Rice, when she was, she's the author of Vampire Lestat. You know, when she gets off message, she'll paint I'm thinking about this at the same time telling you. My brain's doing this. you know, when she does vampires, right? And she's famous for that. But if she wants to paint, she does a different pen name because because her fans won't like the other stuff, right?
You have to stay in your lane.
All right, I think that this is,
Oh, wait. Debbie has a great question for you.
yeah,
Does Ginger use the colors for the lights and darks on this painting?
sure. Don't you see the dark lines and the lights where the light is on the nose? Light here.
Yeah, there's really no shadowing or anything like that.
But there's just, you can see from the picture, this is darker on this side than this side, right? It's lighter here. You follow that. If we put, I guess we could have printed that out for a dark and light thing, but yeah, for absolutely sure, right? We know that, for instance, this was a little lighter up here.
Linda would like to say, love your hair today.
Thank you very much.
I think she was talking to me.
I bet they were, John. I'm sure that's true, right? Let's see, I want this color right here. Okay. Here we go.
We'd like to thank everybody that joined us this evening. We'll be back next Monday at 5:30.
Where's our drawings? Got to do the drawings.
Oh, we're not going to do that today.
We're not going to do drawings today? Sure we are.
Oh, it's going to be the 5th next week.
Yeah, Cinnamon's
Well, yeah, I'm just kind of thanking people now, and
well, then they're going to leave and not know that they.
Give them a chance to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up.
They're gonna. Not good. You.
I wasn't closing the show. You're still painting.
I know. So go ahead and do the drawing because I'm about done. Drawing for the Salvador paints.
Random.org. Got it.
No,
right,
just
how many
putting in
entrees do we have?
a little more of this black in a few places.
194. All righty. Salvador paint set.
Salvador paint set, which was the this is nice. You get 24 colors. That's all brushes, the palette and the sponge. Kind of nice. It's a nice set, and they're fun to use, and they're great to travel with. And you can see we've been doing these, you know, even though we use a lot of different brands of acrylic paint, and these are all professional. These are professional acrylics. That's the trick, and they're very reasonable. And so we're
Very reasonable.
So we're
we
doing that.
We bought a 6-pack.
So yeah, that's what that's what we got here. Very reasonable.
Paint with brushes. And this is going to go all the way to, I don't know yet. Brushes. It is going to Michigan,
Wow.
the old home state.
Okay. Good
So,
job here.
Of the Salvador. And that is Pat Zuka. Zuka, I think so. Pat Zuka from Michigan. Congratulations on the Salvador paint kit.
That's that going okay. So now we've got the pro tones.
And the paint and the brush I didn't give you because I thought you'd show your own, but that's okay. You get the 3/8 inch brush with that as well.
I did show it, didn't I?
You didn't.
You get one like this. You get one like this plus
Yep.
the pro tones.
Yep.
And we have a couple of more of these to do. What, a couple more weeks of these?
One more week.
One more week of these. This was a very nice, you know, someone sent us this and said, please give them out on your show. They wanted to remain anonymous, and they paid for the shipping. And they thought you guys like to try it, and it was
I tell
nice,
you,
right?
I'm very impressed with them myself.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's see, this is the Pro Tone and brush. And that's going to go all the way to Indiana.
Really?
Really.
No kidding.
My queeness, I would not kid you on something this serious.
Wow. Okay.
Winner of the Pro Tone Pro.
All the way to Indiana. Wow, that's amazing.
It is in this heat. And brush is Terry Bishop.
All right, congratulations, Terry. That's way cool.
Remember, our next auction will be starting on the 16th of July, and you can probably bet this little tiger will be there.
Yeah, we'll put him in the auction for you guys.
And thank you for answering my question of the day. I'm sure Ginger will have another one that she'd like to have.
Well,
you
I thought it
comment.
was interesting, and you guys, when I asked the question about, kind of what stumbles and holds you back, and I think it's kind of similar to what John asked today, and I think I would, if I would suggest to you, is I would make a list about what I loved about painting with acrylic. What do I love about painting? Write an appreciation list of. Do you realize that if you were to try to paint years ago, like in the time of Van Gogh, when you would have, you could barely get the paint. It was very hard, and particularly a lot of women were not getting any help at all, right? And I mean, it was a big deal to paint. It was hard. And it's so easy for now. You go to the art store, you can get the supplies. There's education available. It's possible to learn it. We've explained to you that it's not really it's not about a talent. We've explained that to you, right?
It's a
And we've
learnable
explained
skill.
why it's a learnable subject. And I think that that's kind of neat, don't you think so, John? I mean, when you think about what what you can do, you can just, I don't care where you live in the world, maybe some places in the world you can't get it, but you can just keep playing with the light on this one right here. There's so much you can do. All right, I'm stopped. I'll put my red slash through it, and we'll call our how to pick colors for tiger. I don't know what we're going to name this. I mean, maybe you guys have got some good ideas about what we can name this painting that will show up in the search engine if somebody were to want to see it, right? Put the red slash through it, and
Call her done.
So hope this was fun for you guys, and we appreciate you watching. We'll be back next week, 5:30. If you want to subscribe to our channel, do so now. Remember, it's free to join our Facebook club, Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting on Facebook. Get a lot of fun insights on what we're doing, things and tips. And if anybody's found a deal anywhere on the planet, everybody shares. So if paints, like I didn't know about that Salvador paint set going for like $8 on a special Prime deal a couple last week on Amazon, but someone knew and posted it. This is the kind of stuff you want to stay in the know. Join our Facebook club, and we'd love to see what you're painting. So big hugs to you guys, and thanks our moderators.
And backed by popular demand, Judy's song is coming up next.
And I'm not singing this. This is sung and written by Judy Guitar. Happy birthday, Judy.
Happy birthday, Judy. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.